Welcome everybody to the X Factor podcast. Today, on this Wednesday afternoon, we're going to be getting right into it with some NXT talk. We got a lot to talk about, but first off, need to give a shout out to my Twitter page, X Factor MG5654. MG and the X are capitalized. Go check out for any updates, any opinions of mine need to go on there. And comment down below what you disagree and agree with me in this comment section now. I said we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of NXT stuff. NXT Gold Rush coming up. We'll talk about that. A new debut coming in. A lot of things going on we got to talk about. So the first match of the night, NXT North American Champion Wesley versus Tyler Bate and Mustafa Ali versus the Schism. And the first match for that being the first match, that was incredibly amazing. Like that, I think that is probably gonna go down as probably one of the best matches of the night, in my opinion. It's probably gonna go down as one of the match of the week contenders for next week that I'm gonna be doing. One thing I got away from it is how underrated the Dyad are. Because for a while I just thought they're just there, but no, if NXT and they are leaving. And the Dyad are leaving once their contracts are up. And the one thing I get from that is AEW would be the right place to go if they went. But it's also going to be a hurt to NXT knowing how many good tag teams are building up there in NXT right now. So, overall, I thought the match was amazing. Everybody, like I said, everybody got their spots in a 6-man tag. Some people don't get their spots till later. But I feel like everyone had the right spots at the right time. But overall, I thought the match was amazing. Match of the night potential right there. What's next for the Schism? I'm assuming the Creeds or something. Or Joe Gacy is going to keep trying to go after Wesley, I think. At least he's a great mid. Joe Gacy is really underrated in my opinion. So, and then Wesley, Tyler Bate, and Mustafa. We already know Wesley. They had a backstage interview. Wesley, Tyler Bate, and Mustafa Ali had a backstage interview later on in the show, where he's been trying to convince them to have a match. I don't know if that's trying to convince him so he can get him right after, type of thing, but it's something slowly building up on that I'm slowly catching on to. And Tyler Bate, let me tell you, man, Tyler Bate is one of the best NXT wrestlers right now on the roster. Wesley, of course, having the best North American title reign of all time right now, and then Mustafa Ali, who since he's came to NXT, he's gotten over. So, and I feel like knowing how Shawn Michaels books everything, I feel like Mustafa could be better than what he ever was on the main roster. So, after that, Braun Breaker came in the ring. Last week we all seen that Braun Breaker challenging the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker, he talks about how he made him headlines last week, which he made major headlines, and calling out Seth, and beating up Ilya Dragunov, pretty much holding everyone accountable for up to the top, to the bottom, whatever. And he's trying to get Seth to come out, and the next thing we know, Ilya Dragunov comes out. And Ilya, we already know him. He is gonna try to go after him, and security guards got him. So, after that, we finally see Seth Rollins in a video little thing. He wasn't at the NXT, but they had a video thing on the Titantron. So it is official. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at NXT Gold Rush next week. First, all I gotta say is this is massive stuff for Braun Breaker. You can tell that they're trying to make him one of the best bad guys, one of the most dominant wrestlers in NXT history. And so far, in my opinion, he's probably already got to that point where he's the most dominant wrestler in NXT history. He's the most dominant NXT champion ever. He has been through the last year. He is putting everyone on the map. Boom. Like from, he had that thing with Apollo Crews to Ilya Dragunov to Von Wagner. Shoot, what's his name? To Tyler Bate. He had Joe Gacy in a main event pay-per-view match last year. Like, he has had everyone up to, he's gotten many people up to that point. So it just shows how great of a talent he actually is. And in Seth Rollins, that's just going to help Braun Breaker even more, having Seth Rollins actually be in NXT. We all know Seth's going to win. I think Seth's going to win at least. But I do think, depending on how Braun Breaker does do next week, he could at least be considered when he goes up to the main roster to be a world champion and defeat Seth Rollins. So, like I said, I thought it was a really good segment. We got the singing in the crowd. It stopped quickly. It wasn't as bad as it was on Monday, but still got that singing. But we'll get into it with Gold Rush stuff here in a little bit too, so I'll be talking about that. Then we got Thea Hale versus Cora Jade, and Thea Hale won the Battle Royal last week, eliminating Dana Brooke and Cora Jade. They got a Dana Brooke hype video kind of thing before, and I'm seeing people trying to say, why are they trying to hype up Dana Brooke? You gotta think, why did they hype up? And I'm not trying to compare this wrestler to Dana Brooke, but why did they put Rhea in a video package last week? Like, they've been giving these people video packages to show them what they can do. And Dana Brooke is one of those people that has been on the main roster for so long. She needs that repackage. Like, she needs a repackage. Boom. Go to NXT. Have Shawn Michaels help you out. Because in my opinion, Shawn Michaels is the best booker right now in wrestling. Like, like if it comes to how the storylines are built and how the matches are built, Shawn Michaels is up top. He's top tier. And when it comes to producing matches and getting, like, the main stars, Tony Khan's that. When it comes to storylines, he ain't there. Triple H, when it comes to getting matches and how they are, boom. Storylines, he's been iffy since he started. Which I feel later down the road could work with, since he has Shawn Michaels with him. In my opinion, Shawn Michaels, Matt Bloom, I think they're just putting a clinic. They're, like I said, the black and gold era of NXT was the Attitude Era for their side. The middle, the NXT 2.0 type of things was 2000 to 2001 type, or like the 2002 kind of thing. And then you get to 2002, 2003, up to 2010. That is the NXT right now. And I feel like we're right now in a change. In a major change. And that's what's going to make NXT the third. It's going to make them into a global brand. People are actually going to care about it more. And like I said, I think right now this is the Ruthless Aggression era part for NXT. And I will stick to it. But back to what I was saying about Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke needs a package. She needs like a repackage. Boom, to Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels will help her out. And it looks like we're getting a Cora Jade and Dana Brooke feud, which I am really psyched. I'm really hyped for. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But Thea Hale versus Cora Jade, I feel like it was a little sloppy, in my opinion. And again, Thea Hale has not had that much ring time like in front of crowds. She's always been that side manager. Happy to see that she's actually getting the push that she's getting right now. Even, she's going to be facing Tiffany Stratton in 2 weeks. They're making her seem like an underdog story. I like how they're trying to build, and the way they're looking like it, they're trying to build Chase U around her. And I feel like that's the perfect thing to do right now. But Thea Hale versus Cora Jade, I thought it was a little sloppy. Dana Brooke, of course, got in the middle with Cora Jade and injured her arm, and that's what Thea Hale got into a Kimura lock, and boom, that's how she beat Cora Jade. Beat Cora Jade just like that. She didn't beat her clean. A lot of people are going to be confused. She did not beat her clean because Dana Brooke helped her. So if she would have beat her clean in the ring, that would have been an upset. But she also made Cora Jade tap, so that's upset at that too. So, like I said, when it comes to building up superstars, and when it comes to building up people that not many people care about, Shawn Michaels is one of the best guys to do it right now. So, but back to the Jordan, Cora Jade, and Dana Brooke feud that they're getting potentially. I feel like it's gonna be great for Dana Brooke, and it's gonna benefit both sides. It's really gonna benefit both sides because Cora Jade, she needs another rivalry there. She can't just be, going. In my opinion, she's not. How they're trying to book this world title right now, and right now her and Tiffany Stratton are both heels. It wouldn't work. And then with Dana Brooke, she's trying to repackage herself. Boom, she goes after one of the best NXT superstars right now in NXT, and that's Cora Jade. So I think it's perfect, right down the middle. Get that done with. Boom. We did get a Heritage Cup Championship match. Nathan Frazier was supposed to face Noam Dar, but according to Noam Dar, he was quote-unquote injured. So Ora Mensah fought for his power, and man, Ora Mensah is really underrated, man. I did not expect what I saw from Ora Mensah last week or yesterday. He's really, I've seen him before in little jobber matches on Raw or whatever, I think. But he really put on a show with Nathan Frazier. It was amazing. That will probably go on as match of the week. There's 3 matches that are going on match of the week contender right now for NXT. That's how good NXT is right now. It was good. I think they went in the 4 or 5 rounds. Of course, Last Legend and can't remember the other girl. I'll get Last Legend and Jakira Jackson. They tried to get involved, did not work, and now we have a new NXT Heritage Cup champion in Nathan Frazier. A lot of people are not going to get it. Some people will get it, but and also I think it's a perfect choice to have what they did there, because it gives Noam Dar a reason to have a rematch, because he did not technically wrestle. Like I said, it's common sense. Great match. Nathan Frazier, Dragon Lee, I feel the little partnership they're having is amazing. And Ora Mensah and Noam Dar, I feel like their little tag team thing is going good. And Last Legend and Jakira Jackson. And, I thought about it, because they've added Elektra Lopez and can't remember the other girl. There's a new tag team introduced last night to each other. I think it was Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez. Boom, and tag team. Jakira Jackson and Lash Legend, boom, tag team. And now, where are the NXT Tag Team Championships for women? They're on the main roster. They're unifying the titles. See, and that's the thing. I was gonna have a mid-card title would always work, but when you got teams like NXT have all these women, and you have all these tag teams, because I didn't realize how many actual tag teams are getting formed right now in NXT until I realized it all last night. And right now the NXT Women's Tag Division is getting bigger and stronger, unlike the main roster. Why don't they just have the women's tag titles in NXT, have mid-cards up on the main roster, or have both for each brand so everyone gets their spot in, so we have a reason to put more women on TV? And even though a lot of them are not that good, or a couple of them are not popular enough, if you're not popular enough, take them to NXT. The popular ones, bring them out, because NXT crowds will cheer for anything. I have noticed that since they brought in Dana Brooke, Mustafa Ali. I'm guessing at some point Elias will show up there and he's gonna get a big pop. And Dana Brooke never got that much cheers until she came up to NXT. So when it comes to not as popular, the fans that are the visual fans that are watching, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna go, really? But if you're there at the when you're there at the stadium at their shows, the fans are going insane. That's what makes internet fans and the actual fans at the shows much completely different. Because the internet fans will brainwash you and they'll try to say all these different things about other wrestlers. But then if you go to their shows, they're getting a whole different... Like, when people said Cody Rhodes was going to get turned on by the fans, when Twitter wrestling fans legit said that Cody Rhodes was going to get turned on by the fans, it was the other way around. He's getting louder cheers by the week. And speaking of that, I got to talk about that here in a minute here, about Cody Rhodes. I'll talk about it later on in the show. But that's just one thing I noticed, and it's like, bruh. Like I said, NXT crowds will cheer for anything. That's what makes the show so good. Because you actually notice that there's a crowd there. And then you got shows like Raw. And Raw the last 2 weeks have had good crowds. That could be a turning point. Right now, I think WWE is right now at its best. Its best it's been since about 2016 and 2018. Like, it's right now, it's at its best. And that's something you take for granted in wrestling. Because sometimes good things don't last forever, so... But back to the women's tag division, like I said, they need to at least bring those tag titles back down, but they need to have like a mid-card title for like the women that are not ready. But you don't want to put them in a tag team; they're right there in the middle, mid-card. That's where it's always been. People like Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, most of the great world champions always started with a mid-card title. That's just how that is. Randy Savage. Like, all the great world champions have always started with mid-card titles. Or most of them start with tag titles, too. And I said the mid-card titles would just help every situation, so. But back to this. Nathan Frazier won. Congrats to him. Then we get on to a weird matchup. Axiom and Scripps versus Daba Kato. I thought it was clean, actually, for match having a really tall guy for his two shorter guys. I thought it was a clean match. It was smooth. I feel like everything about it was just... It gave that groove. And Daba Kato right now, he is underrated. I think he is underrated. He doesn't get the appreciation he deserves. Because we know there's a lot of bigger guys in WWE, like taller guys, like Omos. They're not athletic enough. They don't really move the best. But then you get guys like Daba Kato, which are one in a million. And he can do whatever you need him to do. He's athletic. He can move around. And I feel like Daba Kato is going to get that push that he deserves later down the road. I thought the match they had, though, the 2-on-1 handicap match, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good match. I just feel like if they want Daba Kato to be this big giant, he should have won. And I get nowadays, big giant guys taking out people every week. It's not, nowadays in wrestling, it's not what everyone wants to see. If you're talking about 80s, 70s, 90s, it'd be like, okay, wow, look at this guy. But, we're now in a time of wrestling. If you see guys like that, they're not really going to care as much. So, it's not the big attraction. And the main attraction now, it's like guys that can either talk well or wrestle well. If you do both, you're great. You're one of the greatest of all time. So, that's really what I got on that. And then, and now we got Malik Blade and Endris Enofe. I think I said it right. They had they've been going at it for weeks now because Tank Ledger and and Hank Walker, that's what his name, Hank Walker, my bad. And Hank Walker, they had a match against each other. Boom, they're more bonded. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, they're now bonded now because of what they've done. And now Malik Blade and Endris Enofe had a match. And these two, oh my god, this was such an underrated matchup. Oh my god, such an underrated matchup in my opinion. This is, like, if these two guys went single, I'd be cheering for both of them. I don't care if you're a babyface or heel. These two, I knew as singles, as like tag competitors, they were good. But when you put them two in the ring, ooh. It's like having sour cream on a taco. It's just perfect. It's like having chocolate milk with cookies. Perfect. It's like having milk with cookies. Perfect. It's like having a soda with pizza. It's perfect. That's how perfect it is, in my opinion. Like, these two, for the little time that they had, it was perfect. And like I said, I'm not going to put it as match of the week contender. Because if I wanted to, I could put most of these matches in match of the week contender, but I can't. I can't do that. But I'll tell you what the contenders will be after the show. But Malik Blade, Endorse, and Ofe, I think, had a good start to their, good start to the match. I thought, I don't feel like it should have ended on a roll up. It should have been a, clean little finisher, boom, done with. But after the match, they both shook hands. They hugged. Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger all came in the ring, congratulating them both. And, Booker T announced that we're going to begin a triple threat match next week. And the winners will be no more contenders to the Gallus Boys. Perfect. It is perfect for them. But then I forgot to mention the two debut guys showing up in NXT. Humberto and Angel Garza are back in NXT. Ooh, I love to see that. I seen on Twitter a couple hours before the show, Angel Garza had his, his profile picture and all that was black. So I'm like, ooh, not happy, I'm assuming. And then boom, he just shows up at NXT. And a lot of people are just just saying love to Angel Garza. Humberto's right there too. Like, give that man some love. And I love that they are not broken up. They're not, I love that they're not just going to release him. They're taking him down to NXT, get them build up. Shawn Michaels, obviously, when you seen them two show up, the crowd went nuts. Which, that's what they want in the main roster, but they weren't getting that. So now, going back to NXT, boom, you get that crowd reaction, you get more built up. You're going to be tag champions at some point. Perfect beans for them. And like I said, going to Los Lotharios, coming to NXT is going to be perfect. It's just making that tag division much more stronger. It gives guys like Gallus, the Creeds, a reason to go to the main roster because they're bringing all these tag teams in NXT. It's like, if you're already on the top, them guys are your second level, and then the guys that are on second level are moving on to third level. And the guys that are on third level are going down the bottom, and that's where you most likely get released. And I'm sorry, if you don't get crowd reactions at NXT, you don't have it. That's pretty much, or you need something to get fixed. So, I said Los Lotharios coming into the crowd. It was through the crowd and taking them out. It was, I think the way they're gonna build them is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be amazing stuff going on. But Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley. In my opinion, not a really great match. I feel like something was wrong. I feel like that's not how they wanted it to go, but it still ended up that way anyway. But either way, Roxanne won against Tatum Paxley. She is calling out Blair Davenport after the match. I feel like promo skills for Roxanne Perez have gotten better since, before WrestleMania weekend, and now I feel like that's just getting a little better. But most likely we're going to get Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport, which is perfect because it gives girls, because like I said with Cora Jade, it gives her a reason not to go after the world title yet. Same thing with here. It gives Roxanne a reason not to go after the world title, which gives other people that are not in that spot a reason to get up and take their spots up into that picture. So, like Tia Hale for existence. So, and then, in my opinion, like I said, another match of the week contender. Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov. Winner gets to face Carmelo Hayes at Gold Rush in 2 weeks. And the first observation I'm gonna know what to say right here is Corbin needs better attire. This man looks like they picked him up off the street. They need to. I don't know if they're trying to make Corbin attires or not, or if this is just Corbin now. But if that's Corbin now, he ain't gonna get it. He's not. He doesn't. He's not getting nothing. We need the Baron Corbin, like the lone wolf. And one thing I noticed from people, and I'm gonna go off track here a little bit, when it comes to people like Baron Corbin, Dana Brooke, all this, like, why are they doing this to them? Or, like, why are they keep changing, or Lacey Evans, why are they changing their gimmicks, or what are they doing here? Or why don't they just release some of them? I'm gonna give this one guy who wrestled in WWE from the 90s to 2000s. You guys will know who I say when I tell it. But he went through so many gimmick changes from the early 90s up to about 2004, and in 2 months he became world champion. And that one guy is JBL. He was a cowboy for a long time, and then he was with the APA, and then after the APA he just became this Texan and wasn't working, and then boom, he becomes the good old JBL. And right there, he was champion in 2 months. And I'm not saying Lacey Evans or Dana Brooke or Baron Corbin are going to change gimmicks and become world champion in 2 months. But it's just, once you find that it factor to them, that's where you be like, okay, now let's pump the gas. Let's put the pedal on the metal and let's just go. And right now, if they changed Corbin's gimmick to a lone wolf, I think back to lone wolf, it would work. But as you've noticed lately, WWE doesn't like going back to older stuff. As you notice, the world titles, people have complained about that. People want the regular, just old gold belt, or the winged eagle title. I'm sorry, they're not going to go back to stuff that's already been made in the past. So, but back onto the match here. Corbin and Ilya Dragunov, I thought they had a really great match. It was perfect for the main event of the show, too. Ilya Dragunov got distracted by Braun Breaker, hit him with his finisher, and then boom, Corbin got the end of days and took him out. And I'm going to hear some people say, well, they're giving all these guys that are rejects up on the main roster title shots here in NXT. You can call it that way, but if you really think about it, people like Baron Corbin kind of need this little to them. And I feel like all these free agents just need to go to NXT. All these free agents that WWE has, and you want to call them jobbers, they need to go to NXT. And if WWE needs someone to job out to them, get a local guy, or find an NXT upcoming superstar that no one knows about, or a guy that's not fully there yet, like Javier Bernal, and just put him in the mix, and just do what you need with him. And after what I've seen with all these debuts this last couple weeks, I want a Shelton Benjamin NXT debut. The gold standard and the gold brand, it fits the whole personality for the gold standard. Bring the gold standard back, boom. And then Cedric Alexander. In my opinion, one of the most underrated superstars and one of the most underutilized superstars right now in WWE. Put him in NXT. They need to bring back the Cruiserweight division. That's what they need to bring back. Because the 205 Live days were so underrated. If they they don't need to bring back 205 Live, but they just need to bring the championship. If they bring the Cruiserweight title back, have the Cruiserweight champion either, SmackDown or whatever, or have them on Raw, or just have their back, just their own 205 Live again, and do what they did on Raw with some 205 Live matches on Raw, but also have it on NXT and SmackDown, who have one 205 Live match on each of the shows. And then boom, you have your 205 Lives on Thursdays or Wednesdays or whatever. Perfect. But back to Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov, I thought they had a good match. And I feel more comfortable now that Ilya Dragunov's going to cost Braun Breaker next week for the title. And Baron Corbin now is going to face Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes came after the match and took him out. And, well, Melo don't miss. So. And now we got to get to a point where we got to talk about Gold Rush. So there's some matches that they have already announced, like next week. Well, in a 2-week TV special, NXT Gold Rush, Braun Breaker will face Seth Rollins next week for the World Heavyweight title. I already talked about it. It's gonna be great. And then, well, Corbin is now going to face Carmelo Hayes in 2 weeks. It's a 2-week event, so Carmelo Hayes will face Baron Corbin in 2 weeks' time for the NXT title. I feel like this is a perfect time. Instead of having it on a pay-per-view, boom, you put Baron Corbin in that main event spot on NXT. And, boom, he's going to have 2 main events already in the little time that he's already been back. So, and then, we also got Tyler Bate versus Wesley as Mustafa Ali as ref, which I feel like we're going to get some controversy there because he did mention how the ref... I gotta get back to this. So, one thing I find funny with the ref situation for Wesley and Mustafa and them in their match, when I think it was Tyler Bate got tagged in and the ref wasn't looking, any other time the ref would say, you got to get back in the ring, or get out of the ring, because I didn't see you get tagged. And suddenly this time a ref has to... It was confusing, but I get it. But Mustafa did call out that if the ref didn't say what he said, maybe it would have been different. And I feel like it's gonna get controversy to next week with Mustafa, Wesley, Tyler Bate. It's gonna cause some drama. I have a feeling. And then in 2 weeks we get Thea Hale versus Tiffany Stratton for the women's title. I think it's going to be a good match. There was a backstage interview with Thea Hale talking about how she needs to get hyped up and all that. And right now, the way she looked like she looks like she was going to pass out. And Ducats has been trying to get Andre Chase back. It's getting to a point where it's like, ooh, what's going on here? Like, Ducats can't do this all on his own. I don't know what's going on with Andre Chase. But I'm hoping when he comes back, it's just to get back to normal. But we'll also get a triple threat: Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, and Malik Blade and Enofe and then Hank Ledger and Hank Walker. That's gonna be a good match too. And then we also got to talk about the new upcoming tag team coming up on NXT. Coming soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get their names right, but Lucian Price and Bronco Nima coming soon. They had a little vignette video of them when they were kids, and then now sitting in the same spot. And when I first looked at them, the instant thought I thought was Crime Time. And if they go with a Crime Time type of guys here, they're going to be the best team in NXT. They're instantly going to be one of the best tag teams. Because giving them things like that, Crime Time was just so good. And then now with these guys, if they become like the next Crime Time, it would be perfect. And the only reason I'm saying that is it gave me Crime Time vibes. Just based off how, they're dressed and, how they look, it gave me Crime Time vibes, and Crime Time was amazing. That's really what I gotta think about that, but, that's all I really got for today. Match of the week contenders so far. Let me put up the list here. Don't have the list. Let me bring out the list here in a minute, and I will... So right now from Monday Night Raw, Where is it at? Shoot, don't have it. Alright, right here it is. So far for match of the week, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus Imperium. That will be one of the matches for match of the week. Damian Priest and Matt Riddle. If you guys think I should add that in the contention, I might have to, because I thought that was a good match too. And then for NXT, we're putting in Tyler Bate, Wesley, and Mustafa Ali for Schism. We're going to put Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov. And then we'll also put Nathan Frazier and Oro Mensah. So let me know in your comments down below who you think right now is having match of the week. And comment down below. I will have a poll set for each show and see which you thought was match of the week, and then I'll put them all together. And we'll get right into it. So, and then like I said, next Monday we'll get our half-year awards. Let me know what you think down below for that. And then we'll have our weekly awards. Let me know. If you see my Twitter, X Factor MG5654, you'll see why I post last week's up there, and I said it last on yesterday's episode. So you all have a good day. Stay blessed, and goodbye.